In the NBA, Ben Simmons' agent met with the Sixers front office today to discuss their stalemate. According to Adrian Wojnarowski, Simmons hasn't played this season after asking for a trade. The meeting resulted into no agent of All-Star. Ben Simmons met with the Sixers front office of Daryl Morey and Elton Brand today to discuss the status of their stalemate. Now, Simmons hasn't appeared in a game this year, hasn't practiced with the team since October. Senior NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski joining us. He broke the story. Woj, the trade deadline is February 10th here. What can you tell us about what went on at that meeting today?
Kevin, there were no epiphanies over kale salad, cheesesteak at a Philly lunch today between Rich Paul and Sixers management. Listen, each would have loved to have heard something new from the other side. Rich Paul would have loved to have heard from Sixers management that, hey, we're going to take the best offer out there on Ben Simmons here before the trade deadline and move him on. That's not what Philly's doing. They continue to wait and want to wait to get back, a significant player that keeps them in the championship hunt. And the Sixers would have loved to have heard that Ben Simmons, has a willingness or an ability to come back and rejoin this team this season before a trade happens. And the Sixers did not hear that today from Rich Paul. So listen, I was told the meeting was cordial. These sides have been professional with each other. But this stalemate goes on. The Sixers right now do not have any real traction on a Ben Simmons deal. I talked to teams out there who say not only has Daryl Morey not lowered his expectations for a return on Ben Simmons, they've gotten even a little stiffer in recent weeks. So both sides are dug in, and right now, Ben Simmons remains sidelined in Philly.
All right, the deadline again for a trade is less than a month away. Sixers, by the way, they've won 7 straight, currently sit in the 5th spot in the East. Big game against the Hornets tonight. Woj, let's continue here and talk about another star out of Portland. This news coming in within the last hour. What can you share with us about Damian Lillard's health?
Yeah, Kevin, as our Brian Windhorst reported that Damian Lillard's going to have a surgical procedure on his abdomen this week. Expected to be out at least 6 to 8 weeks. And now for Portland, this is a team, listen, they've been very active in the trade market. They want to continue to build around Damian Lillard, their interim general manager, Joe Cronin. Listen, they've had discussions on players like Robert Covington, Yusuf Nurkic. Now, CJ McCollum has been out injured away from the team. He'll come back here at some point. But this is a Portland team now that I think will continue to try to make some deals, continue to try to move toward building a team around Damian Lillard. But now you have a team that certainly may struggle and may have the opportunity to start playing for ping pong balls and higher draft position this summer. Yeah,
they're right in that middle part here. They sit 10th in the West, just a half game inside the cutout for the play-in tournament. All right, more from Woj coming up. Top of the hour on NBA Countdown. Thank you.
Thanks, Kev.
Still to come. A very passionate one, right? And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. And right now it's not very good, specifically for Julius Randle and the Knicks. You go back to Monday night, the Knicks played the Spurs. Julius Randle had 2 points, his lowest point total as a Knick. He gets booed off the court at the end of the 4th quarter in what was a blowout win for New York over the Spurs. And as you guys saw coming into this, Julius Randle talked yesterday to the media. I was there for that. And he clearly is still not happy with the situation in New York right now. And if you go back to last year, as you showed in that graphic, the Knicks have the same record as they did last year. The difference was Julius Randle was shooting 10 points better from 3-point range and was on his way to making the All-Star team and being an All-NBA level player. And this year, he is not playing at nearly that kind of level, and the fans here have come to expect that. And so they're asking for more from him, and he is clearly frustrated both with his own play and with the reception he's getting from the fans. And it's going to be very interesting to see tonight against a streaking Mavericks team with Luka Doncic coming in here to MSG, if he can get things going and what the reception will be. Because, this is something that's not going to go away in one day or in one game. It's probably going to take a little while. And at some point, Julius is going to have to try to turn things around with his relationship with the fans.
Absolutely. The bar has been set, and we know Knicks fans, they got a taste of it last year, and they just want a little bit more. Tim Bontemps, thank you so much for joining us. I do want to come back with Perk and Richard, though, because we mentioned it earlier in the show. The Knicks' opponent tonight is the Dallas Mavericks, and Tim Bontemps just said it. They have won 6 straight. So, Richard, what's been the key to this resurgence we're seeing?
Well, obviously, Luka Doncic has been playing outstanding. They've been doing a lot of things by committee, but, the Dallas Mavericks are one of those teams. They haven't been out of the first round since they got Luka, and you're waiting for them to kind of make this jump. You're making for Luka to go from, Mr. Lovable, everything from the moment he showed up into this league, into one of the baddest, most consistent players in this league. But right now, he's been playing well, doing all the things that you need from him, but it's really just been their team has been playing well.
Well, I think it's more so of the next man up mentality because Luka has been out, Porzingis has been out, but you have guys like Powell and Maxi Kleber and Bronson
killing.
Cannot finish. That's been killing and stepping up. And on top of that, you know, shout out to J. Kidd because I see a team, J. Kidd. I see a team that has been coming together on the defensive side of things, you know, on their defensive side of things, rotating, helping the helper, doing all the little things that matter. And they're playing with such joy, whether you're in the starting lineup or not. I watched Tim Hardaway Jr. start for a few games, go to the bench. He still comes in with the right mindset. That speaks of togetherness.
Well, and we'll see if the Mavs are going to be able to extend that streak to 7 games. We talked about it. It is almost time to watch it. The Mavs, the Knicks, 7:30 Eastern, followed by the Nets versus the Bulls. Kyrie Irving will be playing in his 3rd game for the season. So for more on Brooklyn's Big Three, Kirk Goldsberry takes us off the charts.
Kevin Durant and the Nets remain the Vegas favorites to win the NBA title, but do they deserve to be?
I do feel that way.
Okay. The team has now lost 6 of its last 10 games.
A crusher for Brooklyn.
And there are 2 significant reasons to doubt Brooklyn's future.
It starts with one.
First, the Nets' Big Three has been closer to a Big One or two. James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving have only been on the court together for 17 minutes this season.
It's not an ideal situation.
That's a problem because when all 3 players have shared the floor since last year, the Nets have scored almost 130 points per 100 possessions, a mark that would be by far the best in the NBA in that time.
That's nice.
Without that chemistry, well, this team simply isn't playing well. They have the 7th best record in the East since December 1st, while their offense ranks 13th best and their defense ranks 18th.
We're going to get our ass kicked if we don't approach the game in a proper way.
One big issue is that their signature skill, shooting the ball, has fallen off of a cliff. Last year, the Nets were the best shooting team in the league. They ranked 2nd in three-point percentage and 7th in threes per game. But since December 1st, they ranked 29th and 30th in those same categories. These recent metrics don't scream championship, they scream an early exit, especially in the context of a suddenly stacked Eastern Conference.
What's the vibe?
Unless the Nets can come together and start making shots in the second half of this season, it may be another disappointing spring.
The Nets are still title favorites at plus 260. That's according to Caesars.
Lakers are still on the chart.
And they're followed by the Warriors, the Suns, and the on late, Richard.
Well, look, I'm not going to question guys like LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony. I look at the Nets last year. They were a terrible defensive team. They had one of the best offenses in league history. But come the postseason, they were able to kind of rev it up and start playing higher level defense. And veterans have the ability to do that. That being said, one thing that the Lakers taught us last year is you do not want to be a low seed.
Don't wait too long.
Don't wait too long. And all of a sudden, these teams that have all the confidence, all the swagger, and it was a young, inexperienced team that took them out in Phoenix. So, you know, say what you want. They have to get better at being themselves, and I don't know if they know who they are quite yet.
The Lakers.
The Lakers.
Well, I'm not putting any stock in the Lakers right now. I mean, this entire season, they haven't beaten. I think they only beat 2 teams that had a record above 500, but I'm not going against Tom Brady. Last year, I did something along the lines of with my
we
guy
don't care
Teddy.
about Tom Brady. We're asking about the reference.
Relax. I'm diving into what I need to dive in, okay?
Okay.
Not today.
Okay. All right.
I don't believe in the Lakers right now.
Thank you.
So that's the end of the analogy. I don't believe in the Lakers right now. Well, they play Sacramento. Do you believe in them against the Kings tonight?
Yeah, but Malika, that's not their goal. Like, you know what I mean? We can't just keep saying, oh, okay, they're turning the page and they're beating a team that's 10 games below 500. Like, again, what are their expectations?
But don't you have to just be